My name is Erik, and I ran the Pikes Peak Ultra. I wanted to bring you along with me as I recap my race. Some things went great, some things went good, and some things didn't go so great. So yeah, let's recap.
Pressure make diamonds, so I'm covered in ice. Got me out for the whole pie. I don't want a slice in a room full of bad girls. That's not my type. Cause I'm married to the game, baby. That's my wife. Whole board getting wiped down. We don't play light, never psyched out. 100 proof, everything's spiked. All boxes getting checked off, cause that's what I like. Got wings made of hundreds. I'm about to take flight. Going up, going up, blow it up, blow it up. Hold it up, hold it up, throw it up, throw it up, throw it up, throw it up, blow it up, blow it up. Hold it up, hold it up, throw it up, throw it up.
Oh good, you get to see the parking lot. Great. So the start was good, it was nice and fresh. A bit warmer than expected at I think 60 to 70 degrees with some humidity here in Colorado Springs. Around this point in the race, maybe like 2 miles in, maybe 3, and yeah, we had a few hills. Nice and flowy, pretty flat up to this point. The Pikes Peak Ultra has close to 12,000 feet of elevation gain in the 50-miler course. And so that's what we were aiming for. Up to this point, it's been pretty smooth, pretty chill, keeping everything in reserves and having a good time. So this is what we call high drive. This is the first real climb of the race. From the start of the race to the first aid station, it's a good 1,000 feet of vert at least. And to the second aid station, I wanted to get there in under 2 hours. I got there in 2 hours 11 minutes or 5 minutes, something like that. But this is high drive. This is one of the first big inclines. Gotta save the legs for the rest of the race. Just thinking mentally, staying hydrated, fueling. I would have had 30 grams of carbs for this point. Going up slow, steady, taking some fuel, taking some electrolytes, some ultralights. Super refreshing. This is Captain Jack's aid station. First aid station of Pikes Peak Ultra. I came in pretty fast, got some water refueled on some Starburst and candy, and headed out. So we're at the North Cheyenne Canyon Park second aid station. This is the first drop bag aid station, and got here in 2 hours and 5 minutes, like I said. This is the first time I could see my support crew. Shout out to them. And yeah, I was feeling strong, feeling good. I think at this point I didn't realize how much fluids I was losing, just because, you know, the world record heat wave that we had during that day, and it was brutal. It was maybe like 93 degrees with 50% or more humidity, and you know, that's pretty uncommon here for Colorado Springs. Not the heat, but the humidity, and so it was pretty heavy. That's kind of foreshadowing what happened next after this aid station. But they hit this first aid station with bathrooms, and so definitely look at the time I spent in the bathrooms at this second aid station. I think 11 miles in. It came out around to like 20 minutes, you know, doing my business and making sure everything's reset for the body for the next hike. So going up 7 bridges, you cross streams quite a few times actually. So that's super nice. Was able to dunk my hat into the little water stream. Topical cool that way throughout this massive incline up 7 Bridges Trail. And it's very steep, so the stream was very pleasant and very welcomed. super hot at this point. Legs are on fire. Mile 13, mile 14, something like that. With the cramping, or rather at this point, mile 13, I got massive cramps due to the lack of fluids, not necessarily the electrolytes. Had plenty of sodium in the ultralights, but I just wasn't drinking enough fluid, and it was too late at this point where I realized I needed a lot more fluid. Such a hot day, pushing it a little hard during the first 10 miles. I didn't realize how much I was losing. And so all the sweat came out, all my water was being depleted. Both legs, complete lockout. Both quads at the same time, both hamstrings simultaneously, and both calves. Never had this happen to me, ever. Going back to the fluids, make sure to carry enough liquid on you on these crazy ultras. But both legs were locked out. I didn't know what to do with the pain. I just started singing. I'm not a singer. The only song I know is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And I'm not very tuned up for it. I started singing opera pretty much at full lung capacity because of the pain of a full lockout leg cramp, double leg cramp. There are a couple of trail and hikers out there passed me by while singing to them. They probably looked at me like I was crazy, but they're cool. They're cheering people on. Just when I was so focused and zoned in into my carb intake, my electrolyte intake was dialed in, but I couldn't factor in the amount of heat we had and my poor decision not to take enough liquid to carry on me. You live and you learn, right? So yeah, mile 13, double leg cramp up this incline on 7 bridges. In order to rectify that, I had just hit the aid station at mile 11, Shannon Canyon. And so I had 32 fluid ounces on me with some electrolytes. I had to just smash those, chug them essentially, so I could continue going on. Something I learned from other YouTubers and ultra runners like Sally McRae, Jeff Pelletier. You know, you're not out of the race yet. The best thing you can do is just slow down, problem solve, and take it slow. And so that's what I did. Basically chugged all the fluid, mile 14. The next station was mile 17, 3 miles away. Now I'm from Chicago, so if it was the 3 miles in Chicago, light work. 3 miles up this mountain at a steep incline. Loose gravel, can't get good traction. It was basically walking pace. I think it was 18 to 19 minute miles. So doing the math there, at least 40 minutes, 50, basically an hour in this heat to just get to the next aid station. And so it was brutal, but it was fun. Never had that lock up, and so what you can do learn from mistakes, learn from experience, get better. At that next aid station, mile 17, I had a difficult choice to make. Turn right to continue on with plan A, which is 50 miles, or turn left. And that was a 30 miler, 50K course. At the time I was still cramping all the way up from mile 14 to mile 17, but it was much more manageable because I took all the fluids in. I restocked at the aid station in mile 17. Coke, Sprite, which the Sprite tasted way better at that aid station. And just refueled, reset. And back to the question of the difficult decision I had to make at that time. If I turned right, I was putting myself and others in danger in such a hot day. And like I said, I already wasn't carrying enough fluid on me. There's another big climb. Needless to say, I was underprepared. I could have gone with ego, kept going. Instead, I chose to listen to my body, listen to the day I got handed to me. Because you can never be in full control on these ultras. You have to plan for what will go wrong. You have to prepare and train for what will go wrong. So, still cramping, manageable. Decided to go left, have a good day out of it. 50K, 30 miles. I think it was 7,600 feet of elevation gain throughout the whole 30 miles. It's really 33 miles. But we give those 3 miles to the trails. Still had Mount Rosa to face. Got cramps, lost my glasses, hit a tree with my head in the head. And I'd do it again. After coming down from that aid station, had to go up actually to add some more elevation to the course. And so from that aid station you go back towards the city, coming back towards the city, but you're actually going up to meet Mount Rosa and the summit. And so we have to go, I would say, about 1,000 feet more of elevation gain from that aid station back all the way up to Mount Rosa. And they have a little code or like a post, and you read this phrase on the post. You know, they put a little stick and a picture on there, put it in the ground at the summit, and with the phrase, that's how they know that you didn't just cut the course, made a shortcut. And so I won't say the phrase here because they may reuse it again at the MadMoose Events. But once you go up to the summit of Mount Rosa, remember the phrase. Your brain is a little bit foggy at this point because you've ran so many miles, especially in the heat. It can get pretty dangerous with the heat, so make sure to stay hydrated, stay cool. But yeah, came back down Mount Rosa on the other end. This is miles, 20. Hit a tree coming down pretty fast. I couldn't move my head out the way fast enough. I was booking it pretty good, and so saw the branch too late, scuffed my head a little bit earlier in the race. I probably mentioned, lost my glasses at this point. I ran the entire race basically without glasses, which is cool, except it was sunny and hot. And now I got these backup glasses that I'm wearing right now. So yeah, what a race. Coming back down, I just wanted to get back to the aid station, and the original plan was 50 miles, I think. That would have been real nice, especially having Pikes Peak being a 50-miler course. I haven't ran that much elevation, so that was new to me, and definitely working on my vert. But yeah, what a race. It was super hot. Keep saying that, but it really was. My skin's still peeling on my shoulders from that race, and so it's been like 2 weeks since then. But recovery's been important. At mile 20, hit another aid station, then kept pushing it pretty hard. And at the very last aid station, Cheyenne Canyon, they had the aid station there. It's kind of like the second loop. Saw my drop bag again, and looked through the drop bag. It wouldn't have really helped me for the last, I think, 3-4 miles. So grabbed some ice from the aid station and threw it into my hat. Kind of used that as topical cooling. Kept my head cool. At this point, I had a huge migraine just because of the heat and dehydration. Just trying to refuel on liquids. I had plenty of electrolytes with the ultralights. I had my cucumber lime out there, super delicious, but I just couldn't carry, or I didn't have enough containers and flasks on me to carry that much fluid. So that's something I'll definitely improve upon. I'd probably get, like, pony up and use like a 1.5 liter or 2 liter backpack. I chose not to do that during this race just because of the amount of elevation gain we were going to experience, and I didn't want to be carrying around that much liquids on me. Given the heat, definitely regret not taking that much or having the option to refill that at the aid station. And so learning experience, definitely. The course is gnarly and I really liked it. Obviously I did 30 miles, and so dropping down, it was really fun. But yeah, after the Cheyenne Mountain aid station, got to kind of pause and reflect on the race and how the day went at this moment. I had one final sneaky climb up Lower Gold Camp, and during that time I was fully exposed to the sun, no shade whatsoever. Towards the tail end of the race, this is maybe 7.5 hours in to the race, just baking all day like a hot potato. And so yeah, I got to reflect. This wasn't the original plan of, obviously I wanted to do the 50 mile course, and so I thought my crew, family, and aid stations weren't going to be at the finish line to see me cross the finish line, but thankfully they were getting live updates with the tracker, and so that Cheyenne Canyon last aid station had the tracker notification, and so they saw that, and they were pretty much scrambling to kind of get to the finish line in time. Nice and easy stroll back down High Drive here and back into the little Bear Creek Park. And Bear Creek Park's very flowy, very easy, but fully exposed as well. And so you're just baking all the way until the end of the finish line, but very good. I kind of pushed it towards the end there of the finish line because I saw someone chasing me down, and so I was like, all right, well, there's only a mile or two left. Let me just make sure they don't catch up to me. I would walk the little hills in Bear Creek, and then I'd look back and I see them catching up to me, so I'd have to push the hills again all the way to the finish. I was really worried that they were going to catch up to me, just kind of like playing this mental game to keep pushing harder towards the end there, and so I didn't fully expect to actually catch up to the people in front of me, and I was able to do that just because I had this motivation of not letting this person behind me catch up towards the end. And so I did. I passed maybe 2 or 3 other runners out there towards the last mile, finished strong, and I was pushing like sub 7-minute miles after running 30 miles out here in the trail. And so yeah, that's kind of the summary of Pikes Peak Ultra. Super fun. Not the plan, but sometimes you have to shift the plans and make an adjustment. Alright, so here's the breakdown of the drop bag. I had 2 of these out in the race, was able to have 2 of them. Just bought this drop bag that met the requirement size of the race, and so I think it was a 12 by 12 dimensions, and so this one worked really well for me. Just bought it off Amazon. Then obviously had my paint hat out on the race, red camo, painted graphic design that are reflective, still has fresh salt from the race. Haven't washed it, never really planned on washing it, but I could. Sweat equity right before work right there. Obviously didn't drink creatine during the race, but the night prior definitely had a protein shake with some 10 grams of creatine from Ultra Team, just for recovery and have maximum performance out during the race. The whole race I was using cucumber lime, ultralights, super refreshing, kept me hydrated, but with the cramping that was more a fluid issue, not necessarily the electrolyte issues, based on concentration of sodium and all the other electrolytes. Definitely have plenty of those, super refreshing. Didn't have enough water to carry on me. And then during the whole race I was using just the Naked Belt, worked super great for me, super light pack, and I had about maybe, I want to say 32 ounces of water on me with the electrolytes as well in the mixture. But yeah, it wasn't enough for such a hot day out there. Great belt. Onto the little drop bag. I had numbered 1, 2 based on the return trips because it was an up and back ultra. Starburst for some energy. Had scratch. I think these have 20 grams of carbs, 2 servings per packet, so this would have been 40 grams for the whole packet. I was taking Precision Fuel 30 gram cartridges for watermelon flavor. These are pretty big squares, and so I had like maybe 1 trial run prior to, just because watermelon was a new release for them, but they worked out great for me. Had some bandages, had some wet wipes out on the trails in case there's an accident, had some rubber cola just in case the mouth gets dry, and then had some Martin gels as well. These are 25 grams of carbs per packet. So yeah, I had 2 of these in each drop bag location, and that was kind of like the fuel plan. I forgot to mention, I lost 5 pounds throughout the whole course of the ultra. It's probably mostly liquids, but still. Proof of work right there. DNF pin. A lot of you runners out there now probably know it means did not finish. I want to challenge that, change the perspective. My DNF pin stands for do not fear. This is top of high drive, altitude 7,867 feet. You know, there's a price that has to be paid to get here. There's no truck or vehicle you can get to here. It's proof of work on your legs, on a bike. Doing this recap to hopefully learn for myself. Felt like I needed to do some closure for you all based on the first video. Obviously the goal changed. Still had fun. That was the main goal. What a race. What a race.